Got a little carried away tonight. I was looking at planning out a whole bunch of stuff, experimenting with a whole bunch of stuff. All right, let's take a look. So, well, first of all, I've been talking about the unique level that I wanted to make for Act 2 the past few days. And so in the first level, you've got this like wave defense kind of mode that happens in here, right? So you have enemies that pour, like you come in, you kill these guys, and then you've got enemies that pour in through these holes in the wall here. What's going on down here? Anyway, so I was experimenting a bit with this because, all right, well, first of all, I came up with another idea for what I can do for the second act. So I was mentioning yesterday, though, that I had this idea of doing something really similar, but instead making it so that you have to, like, the enemies are going to try to kill someone else and you have to defend them. But playing around with it, it seemed like it's too difficult because the enemies come at you so fast, and if instead of targeting you, they're targeting some other character, it's so hard to like react to that, you know what I mean? Like the enemies come out so quickly, and if there's a guy coming from the opposite side, especially with these guys who shoot their guns, like it's almost impossible to turn around in time and deflect their bullets and all that shit. So wasn't a fan of that idea because of that. But I set up a test level anyway because I wanted to experiment with this to see which one's more fun. This or this new idea I came up with of having just a single super long hallway that you have to rampage through. And normally the rooms, like, normally when you enter a room, the enemies will always react to you. Now, if they're further away in the room, they might take a bit longer to react to you, but they all come at you at once. So my unique idea here was they don't react to you all at once. Instead, they react to you as you progress down the hallway. So basically, like right when you see them, they turn around and they start attacking you. So I guess I'll play through that real quick. So yeah, so I made two prototypes. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. And I had a bunch of other ideas of what I can do with this. So I was thinking I could even have little segmented areas off to the side, like gaps in the wall where there's guys chilling there and they'll come at you from the side. Maybe even have some holes in the wall along the way where enemies will like pop out from behind you and come get you and whatever. And then I was also thinking even cooler at the same time, because I was trying to think of how I'm going to tie this into the story. So I have this whole idea of how this can make sense in the context of the story. And I was thinking in this level that Genyu will actually have a gun on him and he'll follow in behind you and he'll be like occasionally shooting a dude who comes out from behind that goes for him instead. I thought that'd be a fun twist on things. So that I think is what I'm going to go with. But I wanted to see which of these two would be more fun gameplay-wise. So that's why I made this prototype anyway. And as soon as I started playing it, I was just like, right now they go for you, but I was thinking the second I thought, like, man, if they're trying to attack some other character, it's going to be so hard to defend that character with how quickly everything happens. And I also don't really like the idea in games of whenever you have those kinds of missions where you're defending someone or you're escorting someone, and as soon as that character dies, it's game over. It feels like, you know, it makes sense for obvious reasons, but I don't know. I've always felt like it feels like weird in so far as you didn't die, right? So I didn't like it because of that. And story-wise, I couldn't really make that much sense out of why this would make sense either. But I implemented this anyway, right? And I have to say, it's a lot of fun because of, I think, the nature of the enemies in this act. It's very dynamic, very randomized. Like, I don't know, it just feels a lot of fun to play that. So I was thinking this might be an ideal setup for an endless mode, because I was always thinking that when you beat the game, at the very, very end, I wanted to add like end game mode, if you will, that would be an endless mode. And I was originally thinking of some kind of procedurally generated thing, but I wasn't sure even how we would do that, because I'd have to come up with some, I don't know, some custom thing to like keep generating rooms, and I don't know how it would work exactly. And so I was thinking this might actually make more sense and be more fun, like just a single arena room where you're in the middle and there's just dudes pouring out of every hole, and whatever, you keep advancing that way, wave after wave, and like different enemy types keep coming out. So it was cool to make that anyway. And as I was playing this and seeing how fun it was, that got me to go back and look at the like properly implemented version of this in the first act, because that version felt, I don't know, it felt like more fun. And I was wondering, like, do I need to make this room bigger? Is this room too tight compared to that one? And that's definitely one thing that popped out to me. This room's a lot smaller, and because of the nature of the enemies, it also kind of feels different. I have to say, one thing that's pretty crazy right now is after playing all the levels I've made for the second act and then going back to the first act, it has a very different feeling to it. Like how every enemy in the second act has that like 2 attacks that it requires to kill them. If you like, after playing that for so long and then coming back to the first act, it feels really weird when like you kill a guy in one hit. It kind of throws you off. You have to sort of like get used to it again. But it's cool. I really like that it has almost like a drastically different feeling from one act to the next. And it feels like a cool progression too. Like it's, Act 2 feels like really fun and satisfying to play, so it feels like a cool reward for getting that far into the game. But anyway, so I was replaying this, and a couple things stood out to me. First of all, as I was playing, I think just from looking at, in the prototype version I've been playing, the enemies stand out so much. So the second I jumped back into this level and started playing, I was like, holy shit, the contrast between the enemies and the environment is so bad. Like, I think I need to make almost every level significantly darker so that the enemies pop out a lot more, or come up with, I don't know, some other idea. And I don't know if it's just because my eyes got used to the prototype levels, or if it's also because I zoomed the camera out quite a bit by default. So now, yeah, I don't know if the camera being further away also causes everything to feel much more blended in. Oh, fuck. I mean, I've been playing this for a bit now, so it doesn't look quite as bad to my eyes, but still, I feel like things need to be made darker here. And then you'll see in this level, so like one thing I did, I mentioned like up here and at the bottom, these two used to be right in the middle of the room. I just moved them back here to experiment because I found that it was like really claustrophobic and tight when they were up here, and the enemies all popping out at the same time. It was just, I don't know, it felt too chaotic. So to create more space between each spawn point of the enemies, that's why I moved these back, just to see if it made a difference. And it was already a really big difference. It feels a lot more, I don't know, it gives you a lot more breathing space to figure out what you want to do. Because before, when these guys are up here and then guys are spawning like down here too at the same time, it gets like so crazy so fast. But even with that change, I think that's one thing I want to change. And then I think I would want to add another opening here and here, so that there's 5 altogether, just like in that prototype I made. Let me turn the music down a bit. Just like there is in that prototype that I made. And I think at the same time that the room needs to be made bigger in general. Like, I think this wall could be pushed back quite a bit, like up to here, and then these walls expanded a little bit that way. And then I think that'll make the room just big enough. Because the other problem is these dashing guys, they move such a big distance with each dash. So when they come out of here, it's like literally one dash and they're right on top of you. So that's another thing that's kind of crazy with, and given the speed of everything. You see what I mean too? Like, it's so easy to just get whacked by them the second they come out. Oh my god, that guy always gets me. It's so annoying. And I think I need to make the archers come out a little bit more. rather than just standing right at the spawn point basically when they come out. Because then they're standing on top of the entry point, and you have to go to them to kill them. And that's annoying because then the dashing guys popping out kill you right away, which is just frustrating. Oh, I got this. But yeah, so basically point is, I think there's a lot of little balancing things I need to do to make this more, oh my god, to make it more fun and doable. Because right now it feels like you just barely survive, and then you kind of just keep doing the rounds around the room. Oh my god, man. Yeah, it's like way too ridiculous right now. Okay. See what I mean? Like that guy comes, I got lucky there that he didn't kill me. But yeah, see, you're like always right at the fucking entry, and then a guy pops out right away. It just feels too claustrophobic, too little time to like actually decide what to do or to set up a strategy or anything. You're just kind of panicking. So yeah, given what it looks like when I'm standing here, I think, as you can see, this far back wall, like this, could be pushed out easily all the way back to here, and then that'll create lots of space for here. And then I think these walls could be pushed up a little bit, and then that'll create for much more play space, and therefore give you some breathing room. And then with these archers, I can make them like run all the way out from here out to here or something, so that you aren't standing like right in front of the entry point every time. And that should make it a lot more fun to play. Plus redeciding what like order these guys should come out in. But anyway, so lots of new insights based on just making that little test prototype today. But that's okay. The balancing stuff, that's everything I just mentioned there, is something I'll do when I get back to this, like after I finish all the prototypes for the rest of the game and everything is finished. Then I'll go back to the beginning and replay everything one by one, make sure everything is nicely balanced, fix up all the contrast for these colors and all that kind of stuff. One thing I did want to check real quick, which you can join me with, I did want to see what the contrast is like with the current idea I had for the second act, with what the levels look like and the basic lighting there, which I think it should be a lot better. I mean, you can already see they're going to pop out a lot. So here's the red guys. So I just want to quickly throw in some, let's see here, some jazz guys. Okay, here's one jazzy swordsman. Where is he? There he is. Okay, he's fine there. And then we'll put another one in here. And then the gunmen. Sure, why not? This guy. Okay. Let's see how this looks. I think it should be okay though. Just by keeping everything more darkly lit, it already makes them pop out so much more. Like you can see, yeah. So yeah, the red guys look good. I think they all look pretty good. The jazzy dude maybe blends in a little bit, but I don't know, it's pretty obvious. And it's definitely way more contrast than all the orange from the regular samurai levels. I just have to be careful when I'm putting in the rest of the lights in these levels not to blow things up too much so that the contrast gets lost again. Colors are hard, bro. But I don't know. I think it's good. Can always play around with the colors some more too. Maybe try something more. I guess this is already kind of purplish, but You can see though the combo of these 3 enemy types though is it's quite a bit of fun. It really steps up like the dynamicness of the game. It's pretty sick. Alright, I think that's enough of that. Also need a need a sprite for when these guys get hit by their own bullets. Oh, what the fuck was that? Did I get hit by the bullet or possible bug? It's pretty funny when you unintentionally end up getting that bullet hit. I'm really happy with how well it all synergizes though. I was kind of worried that it was going to be a little too chaotic and crazy, but it works pretty well. Alright, that's enough of that. That's it. I think that's it for tonight. So occasionally, you know, you have a day like this and it feels kind of stressful, to be honest. I look at all this shit, I'm like, fuck, there's so many things, like little polished things to improve here, and like it's just the most annoying when you're in a place where you feel like, man, this game is so awesome and everything's great and it fits together and all this kind of stuff, and then you go back and look at something and you're like, fuck, this does not look good at all. This thing is way too crazy. This thing is like this, and kind of like stresses you out because you're like, man, this isn't. If you're like a perfectionist type like me, you're like, fuck, this isn't good. This sucks. This game fucking sucks. But nah, it's okay. I just need to get a good night's rest and get back to it tomorrow, and then I'll once again be like, nah, this is sick. This is awesome. And I just gotta touch up and polish things, and it'll be dope. All right. Yeah, and speaking of that dash cursor problem that I mentioned like a couple days ago, it really is an issue where when I'm playing in the prototype levels especially, I get fooled so easily by the cursor that goes like beyond your dash cursor, and I think I'm going to hit there, the mouse cursor. I guarantee you that's like a problem that some people have too, and that's what it fucks up your sense of like, oh, shouldn't I have hit that guy? But your dash doesn't actually go as far as you thought it should have. And I only even know that that's what's happening because I made the game and know how it works, but no doubt for people who are playing for the first time, it just looks confusing and frustrating. So that is definitely another thing that gonna need to experiment and think long and hard about what I can do there. The obvious brain dead solution is to just lock your cursor and make it so you cannot move the cursor out of your range, and then that way there's no confusion at all about where you should be going. But I don't know, some people might not like that. I don't know. All right, whatever. See you tomorrow.